a lot of things happen that can go either way, and this round's tending to serve that up a fair bit. It's been just a remarkable round of footy in terms of the results and the way those results have unfolded. So yeah, we're obviously bitterly disappointed, but in terms of the bigger picture, it's we got back on track, which means the bigger picture is where we want it to be.
Before we talk about maybe your good performers and how the side played so well, can we talk about maybe the elephant in the room, and that's obviously the officiating? I think at one point it was 15-2, 26-13, and some key moments at key parts of the game, obviously.
Yeah, we can talk about. Well, we can't talk about it. You can talk about it, and I can just sit here and say I can't talk about it. But look, I know that at half time there would have been a lot of dialogue amongst media outlets, fans, etc. But we didn't talk about it at all. We didn't mention it for a microsecond. We were talking about the way we were playing and what we needed to do to get ourselves back in the game. So yeah, I'm not telling you that you're not frustrated at certain times. Obviously, everyone associated with North Melbourne were frustrated at certain times in the first half in particular. But what are you going to do about it? And that's what we had to focus on. I was really pleased that the players didn't allow their frustrations to cost us, and we certainly turned the game around after half-time.
What's your understanding of the Higgins set shot at three-quarter time there? The officiating ump didn't appear to tell him it was play on. That came from someone a long way away, and maybe only one other player heard it, and that was the guy that pinged him. Did you get any feedback from that?
Oh, look, I know the rule is, whether it's right or wrong, that you can't show the countdown clock in the last 2 minutes, so there's that part of it. But we've just got to be a little bit smarter in terms of, it's easy for everyone at home to hear the umpires because they're mic'd up. We have our bench screaming at players from 10 metres away and they can't hear them. So that just a little bit of common sense around, can the player hear you or not? But look, I reckon for us, I understand the frustration. Our fans will demand answers, but unfortunately I can't give them to them. That's for others to talk about and to get some feedback. The AFL will look at it and tell them that they got it all right, and we move on. That's a joke, Leathers, just so you know.
Is it the Ben Brown, when he got, I suppose, the goal, Brad, that wasn't a goal at the end, Mason Wood blocking free kick, is that your understanding of what happened with that situation?
Apparently, but it wasn't what I was watching at the time, and I didn't see the replay. But I know that he didn't think it was their free kick when he kicked it, I hope.
Is it too simple to say that in terms of the first half disparity that happened because you were being beaten to the ball consistently?
The free kicks?
Yeah.
Can't comment.
You say it didn't get talked about at half-time. Did it get talked about at full-time?
No.
Umpiring?
No.
Ben Cunnington in that last term, Brad, was inspirational. I think 12 touches, 2 goals. Yep. He just seemed to take it upon himself to try and get you over the line. What did you think of his last term?
Oh, I thought it was a heroic last quarter. It would have been even more so if the 1 point margin went our way. I think he was put the team on his back, and that's what great leaders do, and Ben certainly aspires to be a leader for our footy club. He already is a leader in the way he plays and the way he conducts himself, but he's always been a pretty quiet sort of a guy, but he lets his actions do the talking. But his leadership around the club has really grown in the last 12 months, and he certainly aspires to be a formal part of our leadership team. And that's leadership, isn't it, when the game's on the line, to try and grab it by the scruff of the neck, and he almost willed us over the line.
What prompted you to play Jared Wade on the wing?
A few different things. One, he's done it before. I saw firsthand a long time ago him play Matthew Richardson on a wing and do really well. So he's got all the attributes to be able to do it. He's certainly got a lot of attributes that can find out some smaller opponents in the midfield. And we were pretty keen to bring Majak in after a long string of injuries, and so we just had to look at our flexibility there, and Wadey certainly gives us a fair bit of flexibility, and we'll move him around, I reckon, in the second half of the year and play him in some different roles, and there's probably not a position on the ground that he can't play, including the ruck.
Is that as much to allow Majak to get a good run at it?
Yeah, it is. It is to a certain extent, and I've said probably weekly, Nick, to the question about Braden Bruce, how do we get him in, and these are a lot of the things that we're throwing around and trying to workshop how we can get some more flexibility into the side. But Braden's obviously a very different player to Majak, so we've got to try and reward players who are in form and try and find out about some other players. And we still want to keep picking a team that we think is going to give us the best chance to win every week. But we do have to be thinking outside the box a little bit in terms of how we get these guys in. So Wadey on the wing allowed us to play a different forward structure tonight.
How did you see the tall forwards working up there tonight? I think it was 12 marks inside 50. The Dogs took 21, but
yep.
I think the second half Ben Brown certainly looked a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, they did. And look, forwards are a victim of use up the ground at times, and I thought our ball use and our delivery improved a lot. It was probably a game where both teams looked really dangerous when they won the ball and went forward. The Doggies and us have played some pretty dour games in the last couple of years, and they've always been pretty tight affairs. But yeah, we were pretty keen to score tonight and really take it up to them, and it looked like they were doing the same. Whether that was just the way it unfolded, I'm not sure. But both teams looked dangerous going forward, which tends to lead to a few marks inside 50, and we certainly did it better in the second half than the first.
You touched on marauding form VFL level. How do you view Andrew Swallow's game back in the team?
I thought he was one of the catalysts in the second half to getting the game back a little bit on our terms after the Bulldogs largely controlled it in the first half. He's I can't speak highly enough of Andrew Swallow. He's taken the demotion to the VFL with absolute class. He's obviously our former captain. He watched last week when Declan Mountford got promoted to the midfield ahead of him, and he couldn't have been, while very disappointed personally, he was just exemplary the way he encouraged Declan and worked with him. So he's just the type of person we want to have around our club, and we'll continue to pick the team, based on performance. And we couldn't ignore his form in the VFL last week, and when a spot opened up, I was really keen to get him back.
Jack Zeeble went off with a shoulder early in the last term, obviously came back on. How's he looking at this stage?
He should be fine. We wouldn't have taken any risk putting him back on if there was an issue, and he came back on and took a pretty strong overhead mark. So only without the next day or two to sort of assess it, the early signs are good.
You sort of touched on the style of game and sort of disappointed the way that gone the last 2 weeks. Is that very much the template in a sense of how you want to play for the rest of the year?
Oh, the template for the rest of the year is to win the ball in contest, defend really well and score. So there's all those things that we're looking for, but I didn't think we did any of those things well in the previous 2 weeks. But the pleasing thing is, I know that we kicked a lot of goals late against St Kilda, but the margins weren't, I think our biggest losing margin this year is around 40 points. Even when we've been poor, we've still been, in with a chance to win games up until pretty late. So that part of it's pleasing, and we just got to keep, regardless. It's a strange season, it really is, but we've just got to keep pushing, and that's the message we keep trying to push within the club, and that's what we want North to be. So we'll just focus on trying to get that identity, so that all of you guys watch us play and you think, yep, I can see clearly what North Melbourne are trying to do.
Any more injuries?
No, all clear. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you.